Hello, friends. It's good to be with you. As always, thanks for taking a little time to be with me today. I want to offer you a prayer today, and I thought of this prayer for a couple of reasons over the last week. The first is that, as I mentioned last week, we had the kickoff of the 2020-21 season of Faith and Life and listened to a wonderful presentation by NFL Hall of Famer Mike Singletary. We'll link to that entire talk up above. The portion that got me thinking of this prayer, I believe, is at minute 55 or so. And he's responding to questions about what's happening in our country today around issues of race. And he basically said there are a few things that each of us can do. First, we can listen, ask the question why. That's number one. So I'm saying listen. Second is, what can I do? And he even used the language of what can I do to make a difference. We talk about that here at St. Philip the Deacon a lot in terms of our gifts making a difference. And then the third thing is, am I doing that, right? So listen, what can I do? Am I doing that? And he goes on to say, the worst thing any of us can do is just complain or point a finger or say, well, you're wrong, or you're not doing things correctly. Again, the emphasis in his talk at that moment in the Q&A was around, what can I be doing to be helpful, okay? So that got me thinking about this prayer I'll get to in a minute. The second thing in the last week that got me thinking about this prayer, and again, I mentioned this in an episode last week, is that on Sunday, October 4th, we celebrated the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. That was the reason we also held a blessing of the animals on Sunday. We always hold that right around the feast day of St. Francis, who was a lover of animals and loved the environment. And it turns out that one of the things I didn't mention in my few comments about St. Francis in that last episode is a prayer that's very famous. And the intent of the prayer, again, it's similar to what Mike Singletary said. It's all about getting us outside of ourselves and not worrying about what other people are thinking of us or whether other people are treating us well or whether other people are forgiving or loving us, but rather, are we doing those things for others? The emphasis is all about how are we pouring ourselves out as Christ did for a world in need. I will say, I'm going to read this prayer. That's the focus here. I just want to leave you this prayer as a blessing on your day. I will say that the prayer is actually considered anonymous. It's not entirely sure whether it goes back to Francis or not. The second half of it is very similar to some words that a follower of Francis was known to have written down. The first half is a little less certain, but in any case, it's attributed to him, and it's a beautiful reminder that all of us as Christians are called to be a force of light in a dark world. So here is the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. And then we move to the second half of the prayer, which again goes all the way back, we are sure, to a follower, certainly, of St. Francis. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. I pray that that prayer may be a blessing on your day, so that, in turn, you may be a blessing to others as well. Thanks for joining me. Be well, stay in touch, and God bless.